morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Atul from Intellipaat, and I welcome all the Python enthusiasts from different parts of the world to this YouTube session on Python tutorial. Let me start this session with some facts and research based on Python. According to Stack Overflow's 2018 developer survey, it was found that Python is the most wanted programming language of 2018. Even if you talk about the career in Python developers are in a great demand for a wide range of jobs all over the world. These include machine learning, databases, data analysis, cloud infrastructures, website designing, web scraping, security, mobile developments, and many more. Let me just give you an example. If you search for a Python developer job on any major job website like Indeed.com or Monster.com, you will find thousands of job opportunities out there. Based on Indeed's March 2018 data, the average salary of a Python developer in US was around $115,835. Such high average salary indicates that many companies are competing to hire knowledgeable Python developers. And it also supports the fact that Python is an in-demand skill. So let's move ahead, and without delaying any further, let me discuss the agenda for today's session. Since no prerequisites are required for this session, so I'll talk about Python from scratch. Well, just for the FYI, no prerequisites are required for this session, as I'm going to teach you guys Python from scratch. I'll try to cover almost all the fundamentals of Python, including some tips and tricks. Well, in order to make this session more interactive, I've added some quizzes in between, which will help you to test your skill. So we'll start the session with Introduction to Python 3.0, followed by Python tokens, where I'll teach you about keywords, identifiers, and different types of literals and operators in Python. Next, you will learn about various data types and how you can use them in Python. Followed by it, we'll learn about flow control, where you'll learn about the flow of execution of program using for, while, and other flow control statements. Once you get comfortable till this part, we'll move ahead and learn about how to define and call a function in Python. Seeing the market demand, additionally I've included topics like lambda function, arrays, classes, and objects as a part of this tutorial. And finally we'll end this session with file handling in Python. I hope the agenda is clear to you guys. Shall we move ahead? Okay, so let's start our session with Introduction to Python. So what is Python? Well, Python is a high-level object-oriented programming language for general-purpose programming. It is one of the most widely used high-level programming language and is well known for executing basic tasks with less code, which makes it more compact and an economical language to learn. If you see, Python code is often 3 to 5 times shorter than the Java codes, and around 5 to 10 times shorter than C++ codes. Well, if you talk about its history, it was developed by Guido van Rossum in the year 1991, and since then its open source community is still growing. So how do you think he came up with this name? Was it because of a snake? Well, no. Rossum named Python over the name of a sitcom TV series, Monty's Python Flying Circus. It seems he was highly impressed with the show, right? So these were some of the high-level introduction to Python. Now, a question might arise in your mind that what made Python so popular, or why you should learn it. So let's discuss it one by one. So the first point we have is simple and easy to learn. Well, if you compare Python with any other language, for example Java or C++, you'll find that its syntax is way lot easier than them. You don't have to worry about the missing semicolons in the end. And its syntax is more readable, and you are safe from writing multiple lines of code just for printing a statement, like in case of Java. If you talk about Python, all you need to write is just one line of statement. For example, print, and within the double quotes, mention whatever you want to print. So this is how it is simple and easy to learn. The next point comes the career opportunity. Well, like I told you in the beginning of this video itself, that Python has a huge career opportunity in the IT industry. Almost every other IT company, be it a startup or a multi-billionaire company, are using Python in some or the other ways. So if you're a Python developer, you will be in a huge demand for a wide range of jobs in the domain of machine learning, databases, data analysis, cloud infrastructure, website designing, website reliability, testing, scraping, security, mobile developments, and many more. If you don't trust my words, just go and look out for Python developer job on any major job website. You will find thousands of job opportunities out there with an average salary of around $116,000. This indicates that there are many companies out there who are competing to hire a knowledgeable Python developer for them. So yeah, you have a huge career opportunity in Python. It all depends on your skill. Alright? Next is large open source community. Well, if you become a Python developer and when you are stuck or you want to learn something new, then you don't have to worry about it. You'll find a large number of resources like reference manuals, books, tutorials, videos, forums, etc. out there on the internet. If you have any doubt or some technical issues, you can directly seek help from thousands of Python community members on forums, Twitter, Facebook, and pretty much everywhere. Now, since Python is an open source community, you will always find people who are trying to improve it, keeping it fresh and up to date with current trends and bringing out newer version of the language. Right? So yeah, it has a damn large open source community. Next we have is reliable and efficient. Ask any Python developer or anyone who has ever used the language and they will agree that it's speedy, reliable and more efficient. You can work with and deploy Python applications in nearly any environment and there's little to no performance loss no matter what platform you work with. Again, because it's versatile, this also means that you can work across several domains including web development, desktop application, mobile applications and many more. You're not bound to a single platform or domain as it offers the same experience almost everywhere. Alright, so next we have is the extensive library. Well, Python has a huge set of library list which would be useful for any programmer interested in Python depending on their area of interest. For example, you have NumPy for scientific computing, Plotlib for data visualization, NLTK for natural language processing, Django for web framework, Pygame for game development, and there are many more. It can be used in a lot of places and has a wide variety of application. Like for web development, you can use Python web framework like Django, Flask, and Tornado. If you are into developing desktop application, you can go with PyGTK and Cocoa. If you are planning to use Python in the field of machine learning or deep learning or data science, you'll find many Python libraries for it. Like sklearn, TensorFlow, Theano, NLTK, and many more. If you talk about cloud and DevOps, you can use OpenStack Python Software Development Kit, which is generally used to write Python automation scripts to create and manage resources in your OpenStack cloud. You can even use a Python library named Fabric for streamlining the use of SSH for application development or system administration tasks. Alright? Last what we have is hardware programming. Next, if you're planning to switch over to hardware programming, you have Raspberry Pi to connect your project to the real world with Python. Well, now that you know how important is Python to the world, let's see the popularity of Python in industry. Well, big tech giants are using Python. In fact, Python is one of the Google's favorite languages. They are always hiring experts in it and they have even created many of their popular products with it. Well, I don't think I should again mention that since many big companies like Yahoo, Facebook, Netflix, Dropbox, YouTube, BitTorrent, NASA, and many other rely on Python developers. So these companies are always in search of talented professionals who have already worked on and have some experience in Python. There is and there always be a demand for Python developers and Python web developers, and they are even offered some decent packages. Well, this was all about the background check of Python. Now let's move ahead and dive deep into Python programming. So the very first thing that we'd be doing is installing Python on our system. So I have already installed Python in my system. For those of you who don't have it, you can download it and get it installed from its official website www.python.org/download. So let me just show you how easy is it to install Python on your system. Let me open my default browser and I'll write here www.python.org/download. So as you can see here, we have a download option of download Python 3.7.1. If you want a different version for Windows, Linux or Mac, you can just click over to these links For example, if I am a Windows user and I want a different version of it, then let's see. I click the link and you can download different versions of Python from here. So the first two options that we got up here is latest Python 3 release, Python 3.7.1 and latest Python 2 release, Python 2.7.15. Now these are the two popular versions of Python. Now which version should you download? Well, I have installed Python 3 in my machine. In the past, there was a bit of debate in the coding community about which Python version was the best one to learn, Python 2 or Python 3, specifically Python 2.7 or Python 3.5 or 3.7. Alright, let me just tell you, Python 2 has been most popular version for a decade and a half and is still in demand at certain companies. However, more companies are moving from Python 2 to Python 3. For example, in 2017, Instagram migrated the majority of their Python codebase from Python 2.7 to Python 3. As with each newer version of Python, it is getting a faster runtime. On the other hand, nobody is currently working on to make Python 2.7 work faster. Also, the community support for Python 3 is more better. So for someone who wants to learn Python programming for beginner, I'd suggest that you should avoid spending time on a version that is becoming obsolete. Well, let's download Python 3 for Windows. So let's directly jump up to our first window and click on download Python 3.7.1. Download it. So yeah, it's downloaded. Just click over the .exe file and follow the installation step and it will get installed. Click it. Click on the install now version. Select the drive where you want to install it and click on the next and it will be installed on your machine. Alright, so let's click on the install now option. Yes. And the setup will install Python on my system. Well, if you are starting Python, you will find that you will have various options where you can write down your codes and get it executed. By default, we use the Python CLI. You can use any text editor like Notepad or Notepad++, or you can even use any Python IDE like Anaconda, which has Jupyter Notebook and Spider pre-installed in it. Python is majorly based on indentation, so these IDEs will help you a lot while coding and debugging your program. So by then my setup was successful. Let's close it. For this tutorial, I'll be using Jupyter Notebook, which is a web-based application that will allow me to write my Python codes on it. It's very to use and it gives me an interactive data science environment. Alright, if you're installing Jupyter Notebook and Python, I would strongly recommend you to use the Anaconda distribution, which already includes the Python, the Jupyter Notebook and other commonly used packages for starting with Python. Alright, so for downloading it, let's visit the website www.anaconda.com/download. Let's open our default browser, www.anaconda.com/downloads. So as you can see, we have a download option up here. Just click over it and your installation will start. Open the downloaded file and follow this series of steps and install Anaconda on your machine. Alright. So for me, I have already installed Anaconda on my system. So let me just go over there and open it. Anaconda Navigator. This might take some time to start. So this is how the Anaconda Navigator looks like after the installation. From here, I'll select my Jupyter Notebook and hit the launch button. My Jupyter Notebook will open in my default browser. So here's my Jupyter Notebook. It opened on the local host with port number 8889. So this is how the Jupyter Notebook will look like. So from here, go on to the new, select Python 3 from the notebook. And this will redirect you to the Python notebook page where you can write all the different sorts of Python codes on it, ranging from a beginner level to advanced one. Now that we have set up our environment for coding, let me just give you a glimpse of how easy is Python. You want to perform addition? It's as simple as 1 plus 2 equal 3. That's it. All you need to do is 1 plus 2 and hit enter. You'll get the output. So let's move ahead and let me teach you more about it. So let's get back to our tutorial and see what's our next topic. So our first topic is Python variable. How do you think the values assign? Well, for assigning the values, there are two different methods. First is assigning single value to a variable, and the next is assigning multiple values to a variable. So let's start with assigning single value to a variable. You know what? Unlike Java or C++, you don't have to add any data type for a variable. Just specify the name of the variable, for example, a equal 10. So depending on your data, Python will automatically detect the data type of your variable, which in this case is integer. Alright, let's see other example. Suppose we have a name as Victor. So Python will automatically detect that this name variable is of data type string since it stored the string value. Alright, next we have salary as 2000.23. So since 2000.23 is nothing but a floating type, so automatically Python will detect that salary is of a data type float. You don't have to specify a data type to a variable. Alright, let me just show you this example in our Jupyter notebook. For example, I need to store an integer value. So I'll name a variable like a equal 10. 10 is integer and I'm not specifying any data type for it, right? Hit enter. Since no error is appearing, so I guess it's correct. But what if I just write int a equal 10? So as you can see, it gave me an invalid syntax. So you cannot use any data type before a variable. Alright. Next, what if I want to store a string variable? Just like name equal John. Alright. Hit enter. Similarly, for a floating data type, salary or any variable name equal 2023.234. Alright. It's as simple as that. Alright. So now that you have learned how you can assign a value to a variable, let's see how you can have multiple assignment to a same variable. Alright. So let's suppose you are assigning three variables as a equal 10, b equal 10, and again c equals 10. So here we have three variables, and what you have to do, you have to assign the same value to all of them. So instead of assigning value one by one, what you can just write? You can just write a equal b equal c equal 10. Alright. And it will be executed without any error. Fine. Now this was simple. Now what if you have to assign different value to each variable? For example, I have a variable as x equal 20, y equal 30, and z equal 40. So in this case, what you can do for multiple assignment, you can just write x comma y comma z equal 20 comma 30 comma 40. It's as simple as that. Now let me just print any of the two variables and check if we are correct or not. So let's print y and let's print a. So yeah. So we got the output as 30 and 10. Y equal 30 and a equal 10. Even if you want, you can just check it by updating the value like a equal b equal c equal 20. And this is, make it something else like 40 and 50. And now print the value of y and a. So you'll get the value as 40 and 20. Alright. So this was about the assigning single value to a variable. We also learned about assigning multiple values to a variable. A equal b equal c equal 10, and this example we already did, right? And we got the output as 2010. Fine. So now that you know how you can assign value to a variable, so let's move ahead and start our discussion with some basics of Python. So I'll start with Python token. So what exactly is this Python token? Well, Python token is the smallest meaningful component, or it is a very basic component of the source code. The characters are categorized as one of the four classes of tokens that describe their functions. It can be a keyword, it can be a literal, it can be an identifier, or it can be an operator. Fine. So let's discuss them one by one, starting with keyword. So what are these keywords? Well, these keywords are some sort of reserve words which are designed for a specific purpose. You cannot use a keyword as a variable name or an identifier name. Some of the keywords in Python include for, if, del, break, continue, true, false, etc. You cannot use them as your variable. These words in Python have a specific purpose and have a specific meaning to it. Alright, let's move ahead. Next is the identifier. Well, it is the name which you give to your variable or to your function or to your class. For example, if you are defining a variable as a equal 10, then the word a or the variable a is defining the identifier. Alright. Well, before you start naming your variables or methods or class, you must know that there are certain set of rules or guidelines for naming an identifier. Let's see them one by one. So the first one is no character except the underscore can be used as an identifier. So what does that mean? Let's see. So you cannot have a variable name as 80 at the rate 123 equal something, any value. You cannot have a variable name like this. It will throw you an error. Alright. Or you cannot even have a variable like 80.we equal 20. Even this will throw you an error. Alright. But instead of it, if you write 80 underscore we, this would be perfectly fine. Alright. Next is keyword should not be used as an identifier name. This I told you earlier also, right? It's like if you are mentioning some keywords like if equal 10, obviously this will throw you an error. Or you're writing while equal 10, then this will give you an error. You cannot use any keyword as a name of an identifier. That is a name of a variable, a class, object, or a function. Alright. Next is Python is case sensitive. That is var with capital V and var with small v are two different identifiers. Let me show you this. Suppose I mentioned a equal 20 and capital A equal 10. So what do you think the value should be if I print A? Would it be updated to 10 or would it be same as 20? Well, let's see. So the output is 20. So it means that small a or the a in smaller case and a in uppercase both are treated differently in Python. Print capital A. Alright. So let's move ahead. Next and the last one is first character of an identifier can be a character underscore but not a digit. Well, what does this mean? 1 to 80 equal 10. This is wrong. 1 to or 41 at the rate RAC equals something. Even this is wrong. But what you can do instead, you just specify underscore before this. Underscore 41 RAC without the at the rate part, as no special character other than underscore is allowed, equal 10. So this thing would be accepted without any error. Fine. So this was all about the identifiers. Next comes the literals. Well, literals are the constant used in Python. Or you can say that literals are the data given in a variable or a constant. Basically, there are four different types of literals: string literals, numeric literals, boolean literal, and special literal. Let's have a look at them one by one. Starting with string literals. Well, you can create a string literal just by enclosing a text within the code. Both single and double quotes are allowed in a string literal. For example, you can have a variable as name1 equal double quotes John, and you can even have a variable as name2 equal within single quote John, or maybe James. Both are correct. You're not getting any error, right? So since you are not getting any error in the output, so it verifies that you can use both the single and double quotes in string literal. Okay. Now what if you have multiple line input? So how will you print that? Let's see for a multiple line input. Multi line equal. So all you need to do is mention 3 single quotes. Just 3. Alright. And after that start writing like string 1, enter different line, string 2, line 3, string 3, and so on. Alright. And again you have to end it using 3 quotes. Fine. Execute it. You won't get any error. And if you print the multi-line, you'll get the output as str1, str2, str3 in 3 different lines. Alright. Let's get back to our tutorial. So what was our input? Name1 equal John, name2 equal James, print name1, name2, and we got the output. Yeah, we discussed this. We have a multi-line thing within triple quotes. You had a multi-line thing in which you needed the output in 3 different lines. So yeah, you got it using 3 quotes. Alright, fine. So this was about the string literal. Later in this session, we'll see what are the various other functions you can perform on the string literal using some of the Python's existing library. For now, let's move ahead and let me give you an overview of numeric literal. So what are these numeric literals? A numeric literal is a character string whose characters are selected from the digits 0 to 9. It consists of a signed character. It can be either positive or negative, or it can even contain a decimal point. Well, if the literal contains no decimal point, then it means that it's an integer. If your number is too long and we add capital L or small l at the end of the number, it makes it a long number. Or if the literal contains a decimal point, it becomes a float. But yes, remember that you can only use one decimal point in a number. Have you ever seen a number with more than one decimal point? Never, right? Well, just for the FYI, I'm not talking about the IP. Alright. By the way, in Python, the value of an integer is not restricted by the number of bits. It can expand to the limit of the available memory, and since the value of the integer depends on the available memory, so no special arrangement was made in Python for storing large number. So any doubt up till this portion? Well, if you have, please add it in the comment section below. Alright. So moving on ahead, next we have is the Boolean literal. Well, these Boolean literal have just 2 values, either true or false. Well, remember that both these true and false are also a keyword. So you cannot use them as an identifier. They are generally used when we are dealing with some condition whose outcome is either true or false. Alright. So this was about the Boolean literal. Next we have is the special literal. Well, Python has just one special literal as none, which is used to specify the field that is not created. Well, if you are from a programming background or you just have a basic knowledge about C, C++ or Java, I think you must have heard about the keyword null, right? Well, if yes, then this null is nothing but the equivalent of null keyword in C, C++ or Java. Alright, so I hope that you guys have understood about literal. Well, there are many cases where you can use none. Let's see an example. It's a self-explanatory example, just go through it and we'll proceed. Alright, nothing needs to be explained in this. So let's move ahead. Okay, I hope that you have understood about literals. So let's move ahead to operators. So what are these operators? Well, these are some specific character which have a specific task to perform. And based on the function and the task, the operators are further segregated into 7 different types of operators. Arithmetic operator, assignment operator, comparison operator, logical operator, bitwise, identity, and membership operator. Fine. So let me discuss them one by one. So starting with arithmetic operator. Well, arithmetic operators are the one which is used to perform some arithmetic calculation. So what it does, it takes 2 operand to perform operation on them. For example, 2 plus 3. So here 2 and 3 are operand, and the character plus over here is nothing but arithmetic operator. Alright, so there are other arithmetic operators too, like plus, minus, multiplication, division, mod. All these characters are a part of arithmetic operator. Let me just show you one more example. Like 1 plus 2. So here 1 and 2 are the operand, and plus here is a arithmetic operator. 1 minus 2. Again minus is a arithmetic operator. 2 mod 1. Mod is what? Arithmetic operator. Alright, let's move ahead. Next we have is the assignment operator. Well, this assignment operator is used to assign a value to a variable. The character which comes under this operator are equal to, plus equal to, minus equal to, multiplication equal to, and etc. For example, you declare a variable as var equal 10. So this equal to is your assignment operator and is used to assign value to a variable. Let's get back to our Jupyter notebook and learn more about it. So, for example, I'm defining a variable var equal 10. So this equal to is nothing but a assignment operator. Var plus equal 10, again an assignment operator. But what does this mean? So what does this mean? Well, it means that var equal var plus 10. Alright. So if you print the value of var, what do you think the output should be? Well, you'll get the output as 20, since the value of var is already 10. So 10 plus 10, it's 20. So the updated value of var is 20. Similarly, you can perform var minus equal to 10 and again get your value printed. So again, the updated value of var would be 20 minus 10, 10. So this plus equal to or minus equal to, it is generally named as a shorthand, which means add or subtract and assign value to self. Alright. Same example is mentioned over here, like a equal 10, a multiply equal to 10. So it means that a equal 10 into 10. When you print a, you'll get the output as 100. Alright. So next we have is comparison operator. Well, it is used to compare two values and it returns true or false as the output. Alright. The operators which are a part of it are less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to, or not equal to. For example, let's see what example we have up here. A equal 10, B equal 20. A is greater than B. Obviously 10 is not greater than 20, right? So it is giving me false as the output. Alright, fine. So let's move ahead. Next is the logical operator. Well, these logical operators are used to perform some logical calculation. And the operators or the keywords which are a part of it are and, or, and not. For example, we have a equal 10 is less than 10 and 2 is greater than minus 1. Then print a. So you are getting output as false. Okay. Let's jump back to our Jupyter notebook and see why we are getting the output as false. So you had a equal 10 is less than 10 and 2 is greater than minus 1. So if you see, we have two comparison operator up here. So what is the value of 10 less than 10? Since it is a comparison operator, so it will give me a false, right? 10 is not less than 10. And 2 is greater than minus 1. This is true. So you can summarize this as false and true. Alright. So since it's false and true, therefore it equals to false. Well, how? Well, do you remember the binary calculation that you have learned in your college? It's like 1.1 equal 1 or 1.0 equals 0 or 1 and 1 equal 1 or 1 and 0 is 0. So consider true as 1 and false as 0. So false and true is false. Alright, that's why you got the result as false. Now if you print the value of a, you'll get the output as false. Alright, So next we have is the bitwise operator. So this operator is used to perform the bitwise calculation. This operator includes and, or, left shift, right shift, not. Alright, so let's see their use one by one. Let's see the example what we have up here. So we have 7 or 5, the output is 7. 7 and 5, the output is 5. So how do you think we are getting this output? Let's see the calculation. So how it is calculated. So if you convert 7 into its binary form, it's 111. And if you convert 5 into its binary form, it's 101. Now if you are performing OR, so basically you are performing a binary addition on it. And if you are performing an AND, you are performing a binary multiplication on it. Alright, so let's see. So if you are performing a binary addition on it, so 1 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 0 is again 1. And again 1 plus 1 is 1. So that's why you are getting the OR of 7 and 5 as 7. Even you can verify this using the calculator. Open a calculator. Yeah, it's a programmer calculator. So 7 or 5. So you'll get the output as 7. That's correct. Fine. Next operator that we have got up here is tilde operator or the not operator. Well, this operator is used to perform a not operation. So what is not of 7? What is not of 7? It's minus 8, right? How it is minus 8? Let me just show you using a notepad. Let's open notepad. Alright. So 7 in its binary form with 4 bits, what it is? 0, 1, 1, 1. Alright, if you perform a not of 7, that is not of 7, what you will get? All the bits would be switched. Like 0 would be converted to 1, again 1 to 0, again 1 to 0. So you'll get 1000 and automatically a negative sign would be added at the beginning. So you'll get minus 1000 in binary form, which you convert into decimal, you'll get it as minus of 8. Alright, that's why the output of not of 7 is minus 8. Fine. Next is the left shift and right shift operator. Let's see what is the output first. For example, I'm trying for a right shift. Then 10 right shift 2. What is the output? It's 2. Let's see how we got the output as 2. Open our notepad. Let's remove this. So 10 in its binary form, what it is? It's 1010. Alright. Well, when you're performing the right shift, you're telling the interpreter that you want to shift your bits toward right. And how many bits you want to shift is basically 2. Since you have mentioned 10 right shift 2. Alright. So 1010 shifted 2 bits to the right. 00 and remove 10 from the end. Alright. So this is how you are shifting 2 bits towards the right. So you got the result as 0010. So now if you convert this into decimal form, you'll get the output as 2. Fine. So it's like you're trying to push 2 bits from the left towards the right. Is it clear? Alright, fine. Let's move ahead. Next we have is 10 left shift 2. What is the output? It's 40. Let's see how we got that output. Again, 10 in its binary form is 1010. So when you're performing a left shift, it's like pushing the bits from right towards the left. So 10 left shift 2 is like 1010 and you're adding 2 bits in the end, since you are shifting 2 bits to the left. So you are getting 101000. So let's convert this into its decimal form. So 101000 in its decimal form is what? 40. So that is why you're getting the result as 40. So there's a shortcut trick. Well, the shortcut trick is that just add zeros equal to the number of bits that you want to shift towards the left. Alright. For example, I want to perform 10 left shift 3. So my output should be 101000 and one more 0. Alright. since I'm moving 3 zeros. Alright, since I'm moving 3 zeros towards the left. So let's convert it. So it's 80. So you're getting the output as 80. Let's verify it again. Well, if you perform 10 left shift 3, you'll get the output as 80. Fine. Well, I hope the bitwise operator is clear to you guys. Well, in case you have slightest doubt, please add your doubt to the comment section below and we'll try to reply them at the earliest. For now, we can just move ahead to the identity operator. Well, these operators are used to test if two operands shares an identity. The operators which are a part of it are is and is not. These are basically two keywords. Alright? For example, what we have up here, x equal 10, x is 10, it's true. Or x equal 10, x is not 10, it's false. Alright? It is just used to test if the operand shares an identity or not. Alright? So next and the final operator in Python is the membership operator. Well, this operator is used to test whether a value is a member of a sequence or not. The sequence may be a list, it can be a string, or it can be a tuple. I know some of you guys might be thinking, what is this list or what is this tuple? And guys, I'd say that just be patient. I'll teach you about them in detail during this session. For now, you can just understand that this list is almost same as array which you had already studied in C, C++ or Java. It's almost same as that. Alright? And this membership operator, it is used when you want to check if a certain element is present in a list or not. So let's see what are the operators which are a part of it. So well, we have in and not in keywords which are a part of this membership operator. Alright, let's see an example. So what's the example up here? So we have defined a list, or you can say we have defined an array which consists of dog, cat and wolf. So we are checking for lion and pets. Since pet is the name of a list or an array, you can say. So we are searching for lion and pet. So since there is no lion in it, so the result is false. Next, what we are doing, we are seeing for wolf and pets. So yeah, wolf is present in pet. So we are getting output as true. Alright. So this was all about the Python token. So moving on ahead, we'll learn about data type in Python. Well, Python has majorly two data types, immutable data type and mutable data type. Immutable are the one which cannot be changed or modified, and mutables are the one which can be changed. Alright? Immutable data type consists of numbers, strings and tuples. On the other hand, mutable data type, they consist of lists, dictionaries and sets. Alright? So let's discuss about them one by one, starting with numbers. So under the topic of numeric literal, I have already discussed that Python has 4 different types of numeric literals: integer, long integer, floating number and complex number. Well, I have also told you that you don't need to specify the data type of a variable while you are declaring it. Remember, Python would automatically convert a number from one type to another if it needs. Fine. Don't worry if you want to explicitly convert one data type to another. You can do it using int function, long function, float function or complex function. Alright. You have that option available with you. For now, let's just move ahead and see how we can find the data type of a variable. Let's see. Suppose I'm declaring an integer variable a equal 10. Let's define a name. As Jill. Now what if I want to check the data type of these variables? So how can I do that? So for that we have type function. So print the type of variable A. Alright? Or print the type of variable name. Or print the type of variable salary. Fine? Execute it. Sorry, there's a typo. its type. Alright. So you can see that variable a is of type integer, variable name is of type string, and variable salary is of type float. Fine. Alright. Let's get back to our tutorial. So this was about the numbers. Next is strings. Well, anything which is written under the single or double quotes is treated as a string. Alright, let's perform some operations on string and understand them in detail. Suppose I have first string as hello world, and my second string is Intellipaat. Alright. Now, what if I want to print first character from the string 1 and the last character from string 2? So how will I do that? Let's see. So what you can do, print str1 and I need the first character. So my first character is at index number 0. I'll just mention str1 of 0. And I want the last character from string 2, right? So print str2. So if you want the last character, just specify -1. Execute it. So you got the output as capital H and small t. Since capital H is the first character from string 1 and small t is the last character from string 2. Alright. So now what if I need to extract hello from hello world? So how will I do that? What I need to do? Extract hello from hello world. So all you need to do is print from which string? String 1. Hello starting from 0 and it should end till 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It should end till 5. Alright. And execute it. So you'll get the output as hello. Fine. This is how you can collect the substring from a string. One thing to remember is that if you check the index number of hello, so it would end at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, right? So when you want a substring, so you have to mention it as +1. So 4 plus 1 is 5. So 0 till 5. It won't include the fifth position. Generally, if you are extracting a substring, the last number which you are including, that thing is not included. It means that everything which would be between 0 and less than 5 would come as the substring. Alright, let's perform some operations on it. So first we have is the find function. So what are these find function? Well, this find function returns the position of the string. Let's take an example. For example, I have a string as str equal attachment. And what I need to do, I want to find the position of the substring me from it. So str.find, and inside that just mention what you want to find. Like I want to find the position of me. Let's execute it. So you got the output as 6. Why? Since me starts from 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and it's on 6th position. So that's why you got the position as 6. Next is replace. Well, this replace function is used to replace one character or string with other. Fine. It's like, what if I want to replace this me with m? So str dot replace. What I want to replace? First mention that I want to replace me. With what I want to replace? It's m. Fine. Execute it. So you got the output as attachment. attachment. Fine. me is replaced with m. One more thing that you can do up here is, let me just show you. You can convert the word attachment into attach. Let's see how. Attach dot replace. So what you need to replace from here is ment. You don't want ment from here. So what should you replace it with? You can replace it with space. That's it. If you execute it, you'll get the word attach. What if I don't mention the space up here? So you'll get the output as attach. Even that work. Alright? Fine. Next we have is the split function. Well, this function is used to create split on the basis of a character. For example, I have a split string which consists of word 1, comma, word 2, comma, word 3. So all these 3 different words are separated by comma. So what I want to do, I want to split the entire string on the basis of comma. So I'll write split str dot split on the basis of comma and execute it. So as you can see, I got the output as 3 different words. Word 1, word 2 and word 3. Let's move ahead. Next is the count function. Well, count function returns the count of the character in the string. For example, let's take a string as str3 equals Intellipaat. Now I want to find the count of letter I from this particular string. So str3 dot count, I'll mention I. Let's execute it. So what do you think the output should be? Intellipat. So do you think it should be 2? Well, according to me, it will be 1. I'll tell you why. See, the output is 1 because well, remember I told you Python is case sensitive. So both the uppercase and lower cases are treated differently. So if I'm searching for small I, that small I is just appearing once. So I got the count of small I as 1. Now, what if I convert this string to uppercase? Dot upper. Let's convert it to uppercase. Okay, that's it. str3 dot upper. So it gave me Intellipaat. Let's store it in some variable like str4 equal str3 dot upper. Fine. Now if you count the number of i's in str4, you'll get the output as 2. Why? Since in capital Intellipaat you have 2 i's. Alright? Fine. So we discussed about the upper, which converts the character string to the uppercase. Fine. Next is the max or min function. Well, these functions are used to return the max or min ASCII values. For example, let's take a string 5 as anything. For example, exclamation mark, @ #123, capital A, small b, small a, c, capital C. Alright. So this is my string 5. Now I want to find the maximum ASCII value from it. So what I'll do, I'll just write max str5. Execute it. I must to mention this. Put it under the quotes. Execute it. So the character with maximum ASCII value is small c. Alright? Or what if I want to find the minimum ASCII value from string 5? Let's check for that. So minimum ASCII value in string 5 is of exclamation mark. Fine. So let's move ahead. So well, next we have is the tuple. Tuple are a group of values within the parentheses, and since they are immutable data type, so the values within the tuples cannot be changed. For example, we have defined a tuple up here as my group equal A, B, C and D. Alright. So this is the example of a tuple. So let's move ahead and perform some operations on it to understand it in detail. Let's get back to our Jupyter notebook. Let's define a tuple as my tuple equal, within the parentheses, I'll mention A, then B, then C, and D. Alright, so this is my tuple. So the very first function that we are going to perform on it is concatenation. So what are these concatenation? It is used to add two strings or character. Alright. Basically, concatenation is used to add two or more tuples. Alright. For example, I'll define another tuple as my tuple 1 equal E and F. So if I need to concatenate it, I'll just write my tuple plus equal my tuple 1. And let's print it. Print my tuple. Let's see the output. You got an error as invalid syntax. What is the invalid syntax up here? Something is invalid, yeah. Let's define it again. Okay, this semicolon is missing up here. Fine. Execute it. So yeah. So this concatenated me and gave me the result as A, B, C, D, E, and F. So this is how concatenation is done in tuple. Concatenation. Next we have is the repetition. Repetition is used to duplicate the string or character for a given number of times. For example, what if I want to double the contents in my tuple? So I'll just write my tuple multiplied by 2. And again, that's it. My tuple multiplied by 2 and hit enter. So you'll get the output as double values of A, B, C, D, E, and F. Fine. So this is how a repetition is done in a tuple. So let's move ahead. Next function that we need to perform is indexing. Indexing shows the index position of a character or a string within the group or within the tuple. For example, I want to find what character is present at the index number 1. So I'll just write my tuple of 1. So at first index, B is present over there. It's like A is present as 0th index, B at 1, C at 2, D at 3, and so on. Fine. So this is how indexing is done in tuple. Next is slicing. Slicing shows a specific set of index character or string. Fine. For example, I want a specific set of strings which lies between the index number 1 to 4. So my tuple, I want a specific set of string which lies between 1 to 4. So this is my 0th, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Fine. So I'll get the output as B, C, D, and E. Let's check it. So I got the output as B, C, D and E. Fine. Alright. So let's move ahead. So next we have is the list. List is a sequence of mutable Python data type which is defined within the square brackets. And now since they are mutable, they can be easily changed. Let's move ahead and perform some operations on it and understand it in detail. So what is an example? Okay. So we define a list as A, 10, 7.12 and data. So it is consisting of mixed data type values. It even has an integer, a float and a string. Fine. Let's get back to our notebook and define a list. So this is my list. My list equal within parentheses a string, a number, a decimal, and a string with multiple character. Fine. So this is my list. Now let's see what are the operations that we need to perform on it. First is concatenation. Well, again the concatenation is same as the one which we learned in tuple. It is used to add two or more lists together. Let's define another list as mylist2. Mylist2 consists of element as, let's take Python, or it consists of an integer. Now what if I want to concatenate my list with mylist2? So what I'll do, mylist plus equal mylist2. Let's see what is the result. Let's print the value of mylist. So you got the result as A123 3.14 John Python 20 Python 20. So you got this result 2 times because yeah, I executed it twice. It's my fault. So what you can do, you can just mylist dot remove. Hold on. I don't want to execute this entire list of statement, so I'll define it under different block. So my list dot remove Python. Okay, I have misspelled Python as okay. Remove this. Again, remove this. And remove 20 and again remove 20. If you again remove it, you'll get an error. Fine. So let's see what we have currently in my list. Let's print it. Okay. Let's get back up here and execute it just once. Okay. So as you can see, my list got updated with Python and 20. Fine. Next is repetition. Well, repetition is again same as tuple. It is used to duplicate your list with n number of times. Well, next is repetition. It is used to multiply your list by n number of times. For example, my list into 2 would duplicate your list with each element appearing twice in the list. Alright? Fine. Next is slicing. Again, same as tuple, if you want a specific portion of a list, we can just mention the starting index number and the ending index number plus 1, and it would return us the sliced list. Alright. For example, as you can see here on the screen, We have my list, and inside that we have A1, 3.14 and Python. And we want a sublist from 1 to 4th index number, like 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, plus 1. Fourth won't be included, so we'll get the output as 1, 3.4 and 3.14 and Python. Alright. Next is append. Well, appending is adding any value to a list. It's almost same as the function what we did up here. Right? It's like my list dot append and add any values with which you want to append. Like I want to append with 10 and print my list. That's it. So as you can see, we got 10 in the end. Fine. So moving on ahead, next we have is extend. Well, again, extend is another function which is used to concatenate two different strings. Alright. For example, I'll define my list 3 as C and D, and I want to append my list with my list 3. Let's print and see what result do we get. So as you can see up here, C and D got added with my list. Fine. Well, next is insert. Well, using the index number, you can specify any value in between the list. For example, I want to insert a number before 3.14. So I'll write my list dot insert. I'll mention the index number. My index number is 0, 1. I want it after 1. And what value I want? For example, I want to insert a 20, 30. Alright. Let's print my list and see what is the result. You cannot use a string up here. You just have to mention the number, index number. So yeah, you got my list at first position. So what if I want to insert it before 3.14? That was my target, right? Now your updated string is this 0, 1, 2, 3. So you want to insert it at third position and you want to insert 40. So at third position, that is 0, 1, 2, 3. So after 1, 2, 3, 40 would come. So after 1, 2, 3, 40 is up here. Alright. So this is how you can insert any number at a given index number. So this was all about list. I hope you understood the difference between list and a tuple. If not, let me just summarize it again. A tuple is immutable while a list is mutable. Open and close brackets are used when you're grouping items under it. And in the case of list, square brackets are used. Fine. So this was all about the list. So let's move ahead and discuss about dictionaries. Well, these are more flexible data type in Python. And you define a group within the curly braces. Fine. While defining the elements in a dictionary, you have two elements, key and its value. Fine. Or in other words, we can say that we define an index for each element. Let's explore various operations that we can perform using dictionary. So first one is defining an empty dictionary. Don't mention anything within the curly braces. That would be an empty dictionary. Alright. Next is integer keys. That is dictionary with integer keys. For example, 1 apple, 2 ball. So the key 1 and 2 are just integer, right? So it's a dictionary with integer keys. Next is mixed keys. Dictionary with mixed keys. That is, we have key of mixed data type. For example, name is string up here, one is integer, right? So this is mixed key. Next we have is pairing. That is from sequence having each item as a pair. Dictionary, one apple, two ball, all are taken as a pair element. Fine. Next is accessing dictionary. So what if I want to access a dictionary? So I can directly access using the key. Fine. For example, the word 1 is associated with key 1 and word 2 is associated with key 2. So if I want to access word 1, I can directly write my dictionary of 1 and it will give me output as word 1. Fine. Let's move ahead. Now what if I want to find the length of the dictionary? Then I can directly do it using the len function. Len of my dictionary is giving me the output as 2. Why? Since it consists of two elements, word 1 and word 2. Fine. Next is key. Now what if I want to find the key of my dictionary? So I can just use the key function. My dictionary.key. It is returning me all the keys within the dictionary. Fine. It is returning me all the key defined within the dictionary. Next is value. Well, this function is used to return all the values defined within the dictionary. For example, we have apple and ball as value within this dictionary, mydict. Alright, so that's why using value function, we got the output as apple and ball. Fine. Let's move ahead. Okay, so now that you have learned about dictionary, so let's discuss about the last data type, that is set. Sets are the unordered collection of items within the curly braces. That is, items are defined within the opening and the closing curly braces. And you don't have to define the key value in it. It is basically unordered collection of items. If you are adding elements in the set, then make sure that every element in the set is unique. For example, you can define a set as my set equal 1 to 3. Well, it's almost similar to as dictionary, right? But it does not has any key value associated to it. It's the only difference between a set and a dictionary. Alright? Let's perform some of the function using set and understand it in a better way. So the first one is creating set. You already created a set. Alright. Next is union. Well, union of two sets return the common value from both the set. For example, my set S1 equal 1, 2 and C. My set S2 consists of 1, B and C. So if I am performing a union on it, so it is returning me with 1, 2, C and B. So basically what it is doing, it is returning me the common values of both the set. Fine. Next is the intersection. Well, intersection is used to return the common result from both of them. That is AND of my set S1 and my set S2. So what are the common elements in both of them? We have 1, 2C, 1, BC. So we have 1 and C common in both the set. So we got the output as 1 and C. Fine. Next is the difference. Well, this difference would omit all the common value from both the set and it will return the only value which is a unique in first set. For example, we have 1, 2C in set 1 and 1, BC in set 2. So if you subtract it, so you have 1 in both the set, so it will emit it. 2 and B, so nothing can be done about it. C and C, again it will emit it. Now since only 2 is left in set 1, so you get the output as 2. Alright? Fine. So this was all about the data type in Python. So now that your base is clear, let's have a quiz. So what would be the output of the following code? Test1 equal Python programming and print test1 from 2 to 6. In order to know the correct result, do post your answer in the comment section below. Alright, so let's move ahead. Next is the Python flow control. Well, these flow controls are the one which control the flow of execution of your program. So we have 6 different types of flow control in Python: if else, nested if else, for, while, break, and continue. Let's discuss them one by one, starting with if else. So what is this if else? Let's see its syntax. If the condition is true, then execute statement 1, else execute statement 2. It's as simple as that. Let's see the flow of execution. You start it, you check the condition. If the condition is true, then execute block 1. If the condition is false, then go to the else part and execute block 2. Fine. Yeah, this block 1, it comes under if part. Alright. Let's move next. Let's move ahead. Next is nested if else. Let's see the syntax. If condition 1 is true, then execute statement 1. Else, if condition 2 is true, then execute statement 2. If none of them is true, then execute statement 3. Let's check the flow control of it. Start, check for condition 1. That is, if condition 1 is true. So if condition 1 is true, then the statement executed with the if block is executed. That is, execute block 1. If first condition is false, then go and check for the second condition, that is else if condition. Now if else if condition is true, then your second block would be executed. If none of them are true, then finally the else block would be executed. That is execute block 3. And yeah, remember one thing, there is no condition associated with the else block. Else block would only execute if all the above conditions are false. Fine? Alright. Next is the for. Let's see the syntax. For iterating variable in sequence, colon execute statement. Let's check. Well, it's the example of a program. Like start, we are defining a variable as count equals 0. Then execute statement. Then increment the value of count by 1. And then check the condition if count is less than 10. Is 1 less than 10? Yeah, the condition is true. So again repeat it and again execute the statement. Again increment the value of count by 1. That is count become 2. And again check if 2 is less than 3. And so on, continue this till 10 is less than 10. And when this thing arrives that 10 is less than 10, your condition become false and you exit the loop. So this is how a for loop works. Let's understand this in a better way with an example. So this is our code. Alright. We have defined a list fruits as apple, banana and cherry. For x in fruits, x in fruit of 0 is apple. Then print x. X is what? Apple. So apple would be printed as the output. Now again, what we'll do? We'll again go back and check for x in fruits. Now x of 1 is banana. Then print x. X is what? Banana. So it would print as banana. Again, it will go back. X and fruit of 2 is what? Cherry. Print x. Cherry would be printed. Now if it goes back, there's nothing left in the fruit. So nothing would be printed. Alright. So you got the final output as apple, banana and cherry. Fine. Alright. So let's move ahead. Next is the while. The syntax for this is while condition is true, then execute set of statement under the while. Start, check for the condition. If it is true, then execute block 1 and then again repeat the loop until the condition is true. In case the condition is false, then just exit the loop. Let's understand this better with an example. This is my code. Like a equal 1. In variable part, I got a equal 1. While a is less than 5. Is a equal 1 less than 5? Yeah, condition is true. Then what? Print the value of a. Alright, so we got the output as 1. After getting the output, increase the value of a by 2. So a plus equal to 2. That is 1 plus 2 equal 3. Now again go back to the loop. Check for the condition. Is 3 less than 5? Condition is true. Then again go to the print A part. What is A? 3. So print A. So you will get the output as 3. Again increment the value of A to 2. That is A equal 5. Now check the condition. Is 5 less than 5? No. I think here we got the condition as false. So we got the final output as 1 and 3. Alright. Let's move ahead. Here's another example. A equal 1. In the variable part A equal 1. Check the condition. While A is less than 3. Is 1 less than 3? Yeah, condition is true. Inside the while part, the first condition that we check, if A mod 2 equal 0. Is 1 mod 2 equal 0? No, the condition is false. So we'll jump to the else part. So we'll jump to the else part and print A is odd. Now since the value of A currently is 1, so 1 is odd. Fine. Then what we'll do, we'll increment the value of A by 1. That is 1 plus 1 equal 2. Fine. Now again we'll go back to the while part. Now we'll check if 2 is less than 3. Yeah, the condition is true. Fine. Now what we'll do, we'll jump to the if part and check if 2 mod 2 equal 0. Yeah, the condition is true. So this time we'll check if 2 mod 2 equal 0. So yeah, the condition is true. So what it will do, it will print the if part statement. That is A is even. A in this case was 2. So 2 is even. Fine. So this is our output. Next, again it will go and increment the value of A by 1. So now 2 becomes 3. Again it will go back to the while part. Is 3 less than 3? The condition is false. So your final output is 1 is odd and 2 is even. Fine. So this was about the while statement. Let's move ahead and learn about break. So this break statement, it is used to break the loop at a certain condition. Alright. Let's understand this with the help of this flowchart. Start it, check the condition. If the condition is true, then check the break condition. If the break condition is false, then only execute block 1 and repeat the loop. If the break condition comes to be true, then break the entire loop and then exit the loop. Alright. Let's check it with an example up here. For example, A equal 10. While A is greater than 0, check for if A is not equal to 5. If A is not equal to 5, then print A. Else break it. Fine. Let's execute it. Sorry. Just manage A minus. A minus equal to 1. Fine. Stop it. Let's mention it up here. So we got the output as 9, 8, 7 and 6. Fine. So the moment loop becomes 5, we got exited out of the loop. Next we have is the continue statement. Well, the continue statement won't break the loop. So it will just skip the statement in case the condition is true. Let's understand this with the help of this flowchart. So start, check for condition 1. If it is true, then check for continue condition. If it is false, then execute block and repeat. Then in case if the condition is true, then stop executing that particular block for that particular loop and cut for that particular iteration, and again go back and repeat and check the condition. Alright, let me just show you. Let's just replace this break with continue and let's see what is the result. So yeah, see, got the output as 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, but you didn't got 5 up here, right? Why? So as I told you, this 5 was skipped. Fine. So this was all about the flow control. So let's proceed and learn about function. So what are these functions? Well, a function is a block of organized reusable set of instructions that is used to perform some related action. But why do you even need a function? Well, what if you have to write a program in which you have to use same set of code again and again? For example, you wrote a code of 20 lines or 40 lines, and those 40 lines of code are coming in your main program at 10 different places. And you have to use those 40 lines of code 10 different times in the program. So I don't think that none of you would be interested in writing the same lines of code again and again. So in order to resolve this issue, they created function. So well, this function is a block where you write your code which you think you might use it again at some point of time. Therefore, it allows the reusability of the code and thus minimizes the redundancy. In Python, there are basically two types of function. The first one is the user-defined and the second is built-in function. Let's see them one by one. So what is a user-defined function? Well, any function defined by user is a user-defined function, right? Syntax. It starts with the keyword def, after that an identifier for a function name, and then you pass the arguments into it. Alright, followed by semicolon, and after that you mention the set of statement inside it. Alright, let's see an example. For example, if you want to add two arguments, so you define a function as add, and inside add you pass two parameters as a and b. So sum equal a plus b and return sum. That's it. So it's as simple as, let me just define a user defined function for you. It's like it starts with the keyword def. After that I'll write a function name as add. Inside that I'll pass two arguments, a and b, semicolon, and this function should return me the sum of a and b. Alright, fine. So this is my user defined function. Next is the built-in function. Now these built-in functions are a predefined set of functions in Python. We have abs function which returns the absolute value of a number. We have all function which returns true if all items in an iterable objects are true. We have any function, ASCII function, ben function, bool function, and many other built-in functions are available there in Python. If you want more information about it, you can just check out the Python official doc. Alright. Now that we have defined a function, now let's see how we can call a function. So calling a function, well, there are two ways of calling a function. You can either call it by passing a value or by passing a reference. Let's see them one by one. So first is pass by value. Calling a function by passing the value. For example, a equal 10. Def, that is keyword. So we are defining the function as print the value of b is b. And again inside the function we are updating the value of b to be 100. and print the new value of b is b. And then what we are doing, change it, and we are passing a. Now since the value of a was 10, so this function would take the value of b as 10. So print value of b is 10 and new value of b is 100. Let me just show you how to resolve this issue. Let's define the value as a equal 10. Define my function. Inside that I'll pass an argument as b. Print the value of b is b. You have to concat. Fine. And next we'll update the value of b to be 100, and again print the new value of b is b. Fine. So this is my function. Now what I'll do, I'll call my function by passing a value. Calling a function by passing a value to it. So I'll write my function, and inside that I'll pass the value as a. Since the value of a was 10, let's see the output. See, so we got the output as the value of b is 10 and the new value of b is 100. So this was about calling a function by passing a value to it. Next we have is pass by reference. Calling a function by passing the reference. For example, so we have a list as c 10, 20, 30. So we are defining a function as change them and we are passing an argument d to it. Inside the function we have print value of d is d. D of 0, it's a numeric constant. We are defining it as 99. D of 1 as 98. Then print the value of d is d. Then change them. Now when we are calling a function by passing the reference, so what we are doing, we are just passing the entire list to it. So what will get the output? We'll get the output as value of d is 10, 20 and 30. And the new value of d is 99, 98 and 30. Let me just show you with an example. C equal 10, 20, 30, right? Now let's define my function 2. Inside this, d is what? Print the value of d is d. Alright. Next we'll define some numeric literals like d of 0 is equal to 99. D of 1 equals 98. And then print the new value of d is again d. Fine. This is my function. Now if I call my function using pass by reference, so my function 2, and I pass the value c into it. So let's see what we get the output. So we got the output as the value of d is 10, 20, 30 and the new value of d is 99, 98 and 30. Fine. Let's move ahead. Well, when a parameter is passed by reference, the caller and the callee uses the same variable for the parameter. Well, if the callee modifies the parameter variable, the effect is visible to the caller's variable. But when a parameter is passed by value, the caller and callee have two independent variables with the same value. If the callee modifies the parameter variable, the effect is not visible to the caller. Well, the things that you need to note in this definition are, well, the variable word here means the caller variable itself. That is, if I pass a local variable by reference and assign to it, it will assign the caller's variable itself. Do you know what is the meaning of reference and pass by reference? Well, it is different from the general term reference. It is that this reference is temporary and implicit. What the callee basically get is a variable that is somehow the same as the original one. Here on the screen is a very good example of pass by reference and pass by value. Alright, in pass by reference, you are filling a cup using the reference of the cup, and in pass by value, you are actually filling the cup using some values. So this was all about how you can define a function and how you can call it in Python. Let's get back to the quiz and test yourself. The following function takes two parameters and print the first one. So fill in the missing code. Fill in the missing code. What is the code? My definition function takes first name, last name, and what it should print. So post your answer in the comment section below and get it verified with us. Alright. Next question is a function which returns the x parameter plus 10. Alright. So fill in the missing code. Define my function as x and write the entire function for it. You have to write a function which return the x parameter plus 10. And again, post your answer in the comment section below and we'll let you know if it is correct or not. Similarly, we have fourth question. What is the output of fruit? We have a tuple up here as fruit equal apple, banana and cherry. If mango and fruit, then print 3 plus 4, else print 2 into 2. Again, print the output of the following code in the comment section below with the question number. Alright? Fine. Now let's discuss about the lambda function in Python. So what is this lambda function? Well, a lambda function is a small anonymous function. Lambda function can take any number of arguments but can only have one expression. Note the fact that lambda function cannot have more than one expression. So here's the syntax. Lambda argument colon expression. For example, we have x equal lambda a colon a plus 10 and print x of 5. So what it is basically doing, it's defining a lambda function that adds 10 to the number passed in as an argument and then print the result. Let me just show you in our Jupyter notebook. Let's define a lambda function as x equal lambda of a such that a plus 10 and then print x inside that will pass the value of 5. So what do you think the output should be? 5 plus 10, it would be 15. Alright. If you change 5 to 10, the output would be 20. Alright. Let's move ahead. So next is function versus lambda function. So what we are doing up here, we are comparing function with a lambda function. So here's a normal function which takes two arguments and return the multiplication result of both of them. And here is a lambda function for the same. It's like r equal lambda x comma y such that x multiplied by y, and if you call r 12 comma 3, what it will do, it will return the result of 12 multiplied by 3, that is 36. I'll just show you this in our Jupyter notebook. For example, I'm defining a function as def. Let's name my function as multi. I'll pass two arguments up here, x and y, colon. Now return me the product of x and y. That's it. It's done, right? Now, what if I have to define a lambda function for this? So I'll write like z equal lambda of x comma y such that it equals to x multiplied by y. Fine. Now if I want to test this, I'll write print z of, I'll pass two values in it, 12 comma 3. So it should return me as 36, right? So yeah, I got the output as 36. Fine. Let's move ahead. Next is the power of lambda function. Well, the power of lambda function is better shown when you use them as an anonymous function inside another function. For example, let's say you have a function definition that takes one argument and that argument will be multiplied with an unknown number, right? For example, you have my function as n returns lambda a such that a plus n. So you are defining a variable my sum equal my function of 3. For example, let's see in our Jupyter notebook, define my function and we'll pass an argument as n such that it should return lambda of a such that a multiplied by n. Alright. Now you can use this function definition to make another function that always doubles the number you send in. For example, I can write double me equal my function. I want to double it. So my function of 2. I need to multiply it with 2. Now print what number do I need to multiply? So double me for, I want the double of 12. So double me 12, the output would be 24. So if you want to triple it, just change it to 3, your output would be 36. And so on. Alright. So this was all about the lambda function. Fine. Let's test yourself. Write a lambda function that sums the argument a, b and c and then print the result. Note, post down your answer in the comment section below. Alright. Next quiz is, what is the output of f my function n, return lambda a into n, my doubler, my function 2, my doubler 11. Very simple, we just discussed it. So just post your answer in the comment section below. Okay. So this was all about the lambda function. Next we have is Python classes and object. So what is a class and object in Python? Well, Python is an object-oriented programming language and almost everything in Python is an object with its properties and method. And a class, it's like a blueprint for creating objects. Let's see an example of a class. We define a class as class space class name colon and inside that you define its objects. If you want to call an object, let's see how you call it. You're defining a variable as obj1 and you are assigning all the object of my class to it. And if you want to print one of the variable of my class, so you can access it using obj1. Alright. So this was about the classes and object in Python. So coming to our last topic of file handling in Python. Well, file handling is a very important of any web application. Well, you have 4 different features which you can perform in a file handling. You can open, read, write and delete a file using Python. Alright, let's see them one by one. The first one being open. So you can use open function to open a file and it takes 2 parameters, the file name and the mode. Let's see the syntax. Syntax is f equal open path of the file. So you have the syntax as f equal open path of the file and its mode. Fine. Let's see what are the modes. So we have 4 different types of mode: read, append, write and create. For reading, you specify R. It's a default value and it opens the file for reading. And if the file does not exist, it would return you an error. Next is the append. And the mode is A. Alright. What it will do, it will open a file for appending. And in case if the file does not exist, it would create a new one. Next mode is W, which is write. It opens a file for writing and creates a file if it does not exist. Fine. I'll tell you about the difference of appending and writing later in this section. Alright. Next and the final one is create. That is X. It creates the specified file and it returns an error if the file with the same name exists. It creates the specified file and it returns an error if you already have a file with same name. Fine. Let me just show you. Like f equal open path of the file. I'll open it in my D drive, D slash name of the file, test file dot txt, and comma, what should be my mode? It is a reading mode, R. Hit enter. Okay. So as I told you earlier, it would throw you an error if the file does not exist, right? If you want to create it, you have to mention X up here and it will create your file. Let's go to our D directory and let me just show you the file. D, so you can see the test file up here, right? So this is how you can open a file in Python, or you can even write W up here. It won't throw you an error, since it creates a file if it does not exist, but it won't throw you an error in case the file with same name exists. Alright. Next is the read function. Well, suppose this is our file. It consists of the document hello welcome to demo file.txt. This file is for testing purpose. Good luck. Let's open our demo file. Test file. Hello everyone. Welcome to Intellipaat. Good luck. Let's save it. Save it as test file.1. Fine. Let's see what operation we can perform on it. Now, what if I want to read it? So how will I do? So f equal open demo file.txt comma mode r. R is what? Reading mode. And then print f.read. Fine. Let me just open that file for you. F equal open the path of the file. It was d:/test file1.txt, and in what mode? I want to open it in read mode, and I want to print all the content which is present in that particular text file. So f dot read it first and then print it. Hit enter. So these are the content of my file. Hello everyone, welcome to Intellipaat and good luck. Fine. Now what if I want to read some parts of the file? Like I want to read the first 5 characters of the file. So what will I do? Let's see. Just copy and paste it. I want to read the first 5 characters. So just mention 5 up here. What will it do? Print first 5 characters from the text file. Hit enter. So you got the output as hello 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So these are the first 5 characters from the string. Alright. Fine. Now what if you want to read the first line? So for that you have a function as readLine. Alright. You have a function as readLine, which would be used to return one line or the first line. Again, copy it, paste it up here, readLine, just hit enter. Sorry, you got an error. Okay, readLine. Okay, sorry, L is small, readLine. So you got the output as hello everyone. This is my first line. Next, what if I need to read first 2 lines of my document? So what will I do in that case? So in that case, what you can do, you can use read line twice and it will print first 2 lines of your text. like this. Again, do it once more. F dot read line, hit enter. Again, the same error. Okay. So what you got? So you got the first line from your text. All right. Now looping through the file. Now what if you want to read the file line by line? So you can use a for loop in that case. So it's like for x in f such that print x. If x is 1, then print first line, x is 2, then print second line, 3, so on. Alright. So you'll be able to read the file line by line. Hello everyone, welcome to Intellipaat and good luck. Next is reading and creating. Now to write to an existing file, you must add a parameter to the open function. Like you can write a or w. A will append the file, that it will append or add something at the end of the file, and w, it will overwrite any other existing content. For example, let's copy paste it up here. Instead of r, let's mention a, it's for appending. And f dot write whatever you want to write. This is the appending statement. Execute it. Fine. Now if you will check the file, let's check the existing file. Open it in a readline mode. R for x and f, print x, execute it. So yeah, so as you can see, this is the appending statement got added at the end of the file. Now what if I use w instead of a? So what will it do? This will overwrite my statements. So here I can write print f dot write this will overwrite everything. Execute it. Done. Now let's check it again. What are the contents of my file? So if you check it, so only this is left. This will overwrite everything. Fine. So this was about how you can write to an existing file. Alright. Next we have is creating a new file. Well, you can create it using X, A or W. Using X creates a file and it returns an error if the file exists. Append, it creates a file if the specified file does not exist. And finally W, it creates the file if the specified file does not exist. For example, fopen myfile.txtx, it will just create a new file. And in case you are attempting to create a file with the same name, it will throw you an error. For example, remove this. This file already exists, right? If I'm trying to create it again, it will throw me an error. Alright, as file already exists or file exists. Fine. Next and the last we have is the delete. Well, import OS module is used to delete a file. How you can delete it? Import the OS module, os.remove demofile.txt. That's it. But for that, what you have to do, you have to first close the opened file. So f.close, inside this, mention the name of the file, or the path of the file, d:/test file1.txt. First close it. Sorry. It's like f.close. Close the file. Now, if you want to delete it, you need to import OS module to it. Import OS and os.remove inside that name of the file. What is the name of the file? Test file1.txt. That's it. Got the error. The system cannot find the specified file. So I guess the file is, no, it's not deleted. Okay, I haven't specified the path of the file. I just written the name of it. So I'll write d:/ and the file got deleted. So yeah, there is no test file 1. Alright, fine. So thank you guys. This was all for this session. In case you have any doubt, feel free to add them on the comment section below. We'll be more than happy to resolve your queries. Thank you.